Marshall Bailey grew up in a rural part of Putnam County near the town of Poca. Friends and neighbors there are saddened and devastated by this tragedy.
This van is parked outside our studios on 5th Avenue in Huntington. We need your help to fill it with non-perishable food items, and here's the reason why. The extreme heat and power outages from storms has put the Huntington Area Food Bank in dire straits. A burglary investigation in St. Albans leads to the discovery of a meth lab and the arrest of a husband and wife. Kincaid had thrown the pitch to the batter, and his momentum took him this direction. The batter swung, and the line drive hit Kincaid in the head. Friends of Catherine Taylor put this wreath here in honor of the victim as friends, family, and even this neighborhood continue to deal with the shock of what has happened.
I understand we have some new information just into the 13 newsroom.
That's right, April. A few minutes ago, I talked with a spokesperson with the state fire marshal's office. They have ruled this fire as an arson. Investigators on the scene, one by one, ruled out any possible accidental causes. Therefore, they say now that this fire was intentionally set. Now, the other aspect of this fire is those oxygen tanks that were inside this trailer. Investigators believe they have rounded up all of these oxygen tanks that went throughout the neighborhood. One of those tanks went 300 feet into a neighbor's yard. Police are investigating a shooting in Institute this evening. That shooting happened shortly before 6:30 this evening in the area of Marshall Avenue. Dispatchers say one person was reportedly shot in the hand. According to deputies, the suspects were driving a silver Dodge Magnum with chrome wheels. Police are investigating that incident. Smithers Police and West Virginia State Police are investigating how a woman was struck by a jet ski on the Kanawha River. The accident happened east of the Montgomery Bridge just after 4 this afternoon. Lieutenant James Bowles of the Smithers Fire Department said the victim had fallen off a jet ski just before being struck by another jet ski. Authorities have not released the name of the victim. A motorcycle accident in Lincoln County sends one person to the hospital. That accident happened on Patty's Branch Road near Ranger around 8 o'clock this evening. Dispatchers say the motorcycle went into a ditch, flipped, and the driver suffered a broken arm and back injuries. He was transported to Cabell Huntington Hospital by Lincoln County EMS. Early this morning, a house fire was reported in the Silverton area of Jackson County. According to 911 dispatchers, no injuries were reported at that fire. The cause of the blaze is not yet known. A burglary investigation in St. Albans leads to the discovery of a meth lab and the arrest of a husband and wife. Authorities arrested Christopher Hill and his wife Laura in connection with the meth lab discovery. Investigators say they went to the couple's residence on Circle Street to follow up on leads from a burglary investigation. While there, they smelled meth and found the makings of a meth lab. More charges may be forthcoming against other individuals in this case. That's right, April. Marshall Bailey grew up in a rural part of Putnam County near the town of Poca. Friends and neighbors there are saddened and devastated by this tragedy.
So you've known him since he was inception. Barbara Smith knew Marshall Bailey all his life. She was like a second mother and remembers when Bailey decided he wanted a career in law enforcement, proud of the decision, yet she's still worried about him.
Before that, every time I'd hear something happen in the county that he worked in, I'd think, oh no, I hope it's not Marshall. Not that I wanted anybody to be hurt, but he's just like my own son. He played with my sons, he hunted with my sons. He was just a wonderful person. I'm deeply, deeply hurt.
Felt like somebody kicked me in the gut.
That's how Poca High School principal Vic Donaldson described being told of the shooting death of Marshall Bailey. Donaldson coached Bailey in the mid-1980s when Bailey played basketball, describing him as a well-mannered, good student.
Yes, sir, no, sir type of kid. Came from a good family. Just it definitely hits home.
Bailey is also being remembered as a person dedicated to whatever he did.
You know, he was one of our own, and it just leaves empty space right now.
Donaldson says Poca High School is planning to remember Bailey at the next home football game. Details are still being worked out. We'll let you know what is being planned. In the studio, GIL McCLANAHAN, 13 News. Absolutely, Kelly. Authorities tell us an investigation sparked this investigation into the alleged drug activities at the Odyssey shop. And now they say a major player in the synthetic drug trade in Putnam County is in police custody, accused of selling prescription drugs and synthetic marijuana. No, what do you sell here?
We sell records and guitars. You can go in and have liquor on if you like.
Jessica Statton of Winfield is an employee at the Odyssey shop. She's being charged with delivery of a controlled substance as law enforcement finds synthetic marijuana and guns inside the business. Are you selling synthetic marijuana out of there?
No, sir.
Well, then why are the police here?
I don't know. Ask the police.
David Bowen is the owner of the business and is also being charged with delivery of a controlled substance.
Synthetic marijuana, you selling that here?
No, sir.
Well, then how come the police found it here?
Investigators say an informant made numerous undercover buys inside the business for the past 6 months. Adding Bowen and the business are a major part of Putnam County's synthetic drug trade, specifically among young people.
We see a number of vehicles that are coming in with 2 to 4 people probably in a vehicle. One person going in the shop, in there for just a short amount of time, coming back out of the shop with nothing in their hands.
The Odyssey shop is in the Putnam Village Shopping Center in Tays Valley, near other businesses.
I don't like it. It's kind of scary.
How so?
Well, because all the guns and the drugs and ugh. Yeah, we have a lot of children that come into our business.
So sometimes it masks what they're doing, if you see what I'm saying, if you got the normal traffic coming in and out.
Those two could face additional charges, including charges from those guns found inside the business. The message investigators want to send to the public is synthetic marijuana and bath salts are illegal, and those caught selling or using them will be charged. Live here in the Huntington newsroom, GIL McCLANAHAN, 13 News.
Floodwaters moved this trailer off its foundation and washed it some 500 feet to where it is right now. The family that lived there was rescued, but their neighbors also had to deal with flooding.
Water was up to here on the trailer, all the way around it.
Paul Griffey and his family were asleep as the storm blew by. He made it to the living room to make sure things were okay.
And then I opened the door and it was just like a river right here. It was up so high.
At that point, Paul tied a rope to his porch, threw the line to his neighbor to get his family to higher ground.
He held on to it while we walked through water probably up to here. And we made it.
Floodwaters swept away his neighbor's trailer and their 2 vehicles. 2 women and 4 dogs were inside.
I don't see how they survived it, but they did, and I'm glad. I thank the Lord for it.
We'll go in and assess how much water damage is in the house to determine, if we do individual assistance or what we're going to be able to do.
Paul has never been through this kind of flash flooding. He says there is extensive damage inside his trailer, but the family was able to salvage some things.
Unbelievable, the way water can come up so quick.
The family that lived in this trailer is now staying with relatives as neighbors begin the task of cleaning up. In Olive Hill, Kentucky, GIL McCLANAHAN, WOWK. Rain Dutney of Hurricane woke up Tuesday morning to find out he was one of hundreds to receive KKK materials laying in his front yard.
We live in the 21st century, you don't think of us as having these kind of groups. You'd like to think society's progressed forward.
The literature was in a plastic bag with rocks in it to keep the package from blowing away. City leaders believe the distribution was done overnight.
It appeared that they had just thrown them out of the vehicle as they were driving by, threw it in their front lawn or on their front porch. So it was a quick drive-by and throw these things everywhere, and there were many, many of them.
Those who received the KKK materials were quick to react.
Kind of mixed, a bit laughable, but concerned that there was contact information to join. If there wasn't any information, I would have thought it was a joke.
You'd have to want to be an outcast to even consider putting your name to this. A mental defect almost.
The only thing police can do to those who are distributing this material is cite them for littering, because this material is protected free speech. The contact information listed a Beckley address and phone number. We called to get a comment, but instead got a recording.
Our leader is the Lord. Yes, our Lord and Savior is the one person we all look up to.
We like to think of them as being something of the past, but I guess they're still around.
Hurricane City leaders received hundreds of calls of concern over the literature. Mayor Edwards says they advise citizens to throw the materials away. In Hurricane, GIL McCLANAHAN, WOWK. The water at the wave pool is usually a little choppy. Last week, the controls for the motor that makes the waves wore out after 30 years, leaving the wave pool waveless.
There's a massive power drop between the main breaker and the individual breakers that run the motors, so we can't get it to start up.
Williamson says being without waves is washing away some business.
Well, we come to the wave pool because it's something different other than going to the pool and just being at a regular pool. We come because we like the waves.
We came here for the waves and slides, but there's not any, so I mean, it's no big deal, I don't guess.
Right now, this water is very cool and refreshing on this hot summer day. Park leaders are hoping others feel the same way, despite the fact there are no waves here at the wave pool.
A lot of people are calling us. Obviously, there are some that are disappointed, some that are angry, but you know, it is what it is. And a lot of the people we're talking to are actually saying it's still water. It's still a 90-degree day. We want to come to the pool and get wet.
Actually, it's a lot more disappointing about the slides. I was looking forward to the slides.
To make matters worse, the slides at the wave pool are also closed while crews refurbish the structures. They are expected to reopen in a couple weeks. Meanwhile, Williamson is adding up how much it's going to cost to fix the problem so waves can once again make a splash in the wave pool. In Putnam County, GIL McCLANAHAN, WOWK.